Hello and welcome back. Let's try to finish the last part to find the vaccination center. Till now, we have listed the states, all the states in India. From that, we have pinpointed our state ID, the one requested, that's West Bengal. And in West Bengal, we have listed all the district. Again, from that, we have found out the code, the district code for Kolkata, which is our target district. Next, we will find the vaccination center. This one is a little bit different. Let's see how. First of all, that's what we will use. There are two ways to find our target vaccine center. Either is find by pin or is find by district, but we will prefer to go by find by district. And from my previous experience, find by pin is a lot more hassle than find by district. Let's try to go by find by district. First of all, like previous work, we will copy part of codes. So we'll copy this, the first part of the code, URL, header, get, and status. This is all we need to copy, and we will modify as necessary. This, up till the first part, the link remains the same. But the second part, we will change the link. What are the requirements? First is V2 appointment, sessions, public, and find by district. So let's write the link down. It's V2 appointment, sessions, public, then find by district. That's our link. What else is required? Except language is required. District ID is required. These are the must: district ID and date. So district ID and date both are strings. District ID we know. Let's try to find it out. We will write district ID, that will be in the header. We have already saved the district target district ID in search district ID. Next is the date. Let's try to find today's date. Instead of writing or hard coding the date, we will use from date time import date time, and the second one is time delta. We don't need this pool manager as we have it initialized before only. Let's find out the time now. Get time dot now, and our target date, let's make it tomorrow now, plus time delta days equal to 1. So this will return time now, that is today. Today's date will be here, but we are adding one day, that means tomorrow. Let's try to print target date now and target date. Let's see what happens. That's today's date. It's year, month, and day, and that's tomorrow's date. We have added 1 to today's date, 1 day to today's date. So let's try to find TD for tomorrow, MM, and YY. and we will pass this to the header, to the date field. The date field is dd, and 4 digit of y. So we'll write formatted string with first argument being dd, next being month, and third being the year string. So let's see how the header looks like. Header, that's our header string. It has the district ID of Kolkata and it has the date 6/6/2021. That is tomorrow's date. We will just pass it to the URL, which is find by district. It will find all the vaccination centers that are willing to give vaccines tomorrow, and we'll print the return status and expect that 200 is returned or 401 is returned. Let's see where we have our mistakes. We have done a mistake. There should be comma since the statement was not used anywhere, as all the status were correct. Even previously the error was not there. Okay, 401. 401 means not found. Let's see what we have done. Print the header, district ID 725.661. It will find out if it returns 401. It is unauthenticated access. That means we are not allowed to read the data. That shouldn't be. Still giving 401. Oh, as it comes to my notice, we are not allowed to give the argument like this. Rather, we will be using a new link where we will use the get with parameters. We will use the same header as before. We just need to modify the URL. This is how you will do it. The last parameter will be calendar by district, with the first argument as district ID, and date will be dd, yy. Format, so search district ID, then we need to pass tomorrow's date, and that will be our URL. So let's see our new URL. So our URL is district ID 725 with tomorrow's date. Let's pass this and expect to see a return. It's error 401. It's unauthenticated access. Okay, we are back again. There was a mistake in this API, in this link. It should be appointments, sessions, public, calendar by district, then district ID and date. After supplying both of this as expected, we have a 200. That means we have data. Data again is in UTF-8 binary format. So we will convert it into a string and print it. So we have centers and we have a lot of data under centers. Centers are, let's see, let's load this JSON. And then try to analyze it from preprint import preprint. This will prettify the printed data. Preprint data. So if we go through the structure, we will see that centers are arrays of a smaller dictionary, where each of the element of the array or the list itself is a center structure. Let's go through one. For one center in data, let's go through the centers field. We print one center, and if we get one center, just break. We don't need the other centers. You can see that there are a lot of parameters shown. First is available capacity dose 1, available capacity dose 2. There are a lot of fields. Let us try to filter out the centers. Let us try to filter out if available capacity. If it is a paid or free type, we can get it from here. The address of the center is there, block name is there, center ID is there, location, they are all Kolkata because we have already fixed it. Latitude, longitude, that's the geolocation. The name of the center is there, and the pin code. And if we go through the sessions, we can get timing information, available capacity if they have multiple vaccines available. For instance, there are multiple sessions available there. The age limit is there. This one is for minimum age 18. This one is for minimum age 45. So let's find out the sessions. The sessions for the center is itself a substructure. For each sessions is like an array or like a list. We will go through each of the session. For one session in sessions, let's pretty print it. So we have available capacity 0 here. Since available capacity is 0, let's try to prettify it. If one session available capacity is equal to 0, then we will just skip, will not do anything. So we have some centers with available capacities, which is non-zero. Now let's try to filter out the one where the minimum age limit is there. It's say 18. If you want to get the 18, at least 18-year-olds vaccinated, one session. mean age limit is equal to greater than is equal to 18. It's not equal to 18. If it's a non-18 vaccine, we will just skip it. Will not do any pretty print. So now we have far less amount of center. If nobody has got vaccinated, they will be looking for the dose 1. So let's try to see which of the centers have the first dose available. So we will look for available capacity dose 1 greater than 0. So the available dose 1 is less than equal to 0. Then we will skip those centers. Look at the structures. You see here available dose 1. That means dose 1 is permitted, but this one is for dose 2. We have 0 dose 2. So somebody trying to get a dose 2 cannot go to this center. Further, this one is the minimum age. So 18 plus can go and get vaccinated. But dose 1. This field marks the date when you can get vaccinated. So you can go through the date structure there. And last but not the least, this is the vaccine Covishield. You get the Covishield vaccine from here. So let's get back to our coding. We want to get, first of all, we'll check if there is a vaccine available or not. If not, then we'll just skip it. Then we just want to check if 18 plus can get vaccinated, but less than 45 years old. So we are checking if it's not 18, that is for 45, then we'll just skip it. Next, we will check if dose 1 is available. So available capacity of dose 1 should be, if it's less than equal to 0, we don't care about the center. So we have a very few centers here. Next, we'll go through the date. So let's try to pretty print one center where all these criteria are matched. So we have vaccine fees. Before we go to the vaccine fees, try to print. We will try printing the center name. First is the center ID. We want center ID. Then we will print center, the center name, the name of the center. We will put it here. Then the center address. Then print the pin code. After that is done, we will try to print information that is specific to the session. Let's try those. So for here, we have available capacity for dose 1 is this much. So let's print it. Session available capacity dose 1 doses are available for vaccination. Then let's print more information about it. Let's put registration, the vaccine, that's the name of the vaccine, and one more type we will print, station. Okay, so we have a lot of data now, but need one more thing from the center, that is type of vaccine and the rates. So let's see. We have already printed a lot of things. We have printed the Bellevue Clinic, and this one with the address, pin code, one more dose is available. Next is we require from one session will require the date, and will require the type, its fee type, so let's see how it looks like. We have paid vaccines here, paid here, all are paid vaccines for dose 1. Let's try to see if we have some free centers or not. Okay, we have no free centers at this moment. So if for the paid vaccine you need to know the vaccination fees. For that you need to go through one more step. Let's check if it's paid. So if it is paid, we will print. We have to print the center structure. Why? There is one more structure within this center which will give the vaccination fees. So this structure will give the vaccination fees. So what vaccines? This one is the vaccine. Now we will extract the vaccination fees. It's in one center. So we have the fee. There are two entries. One is fee, the other one is vaccine. It's an array. The first one will give the fee, and the second one will give the vaccine name. We want to know the fee for our vaccine. So one session, make it case insensitive comparison. So once we have that, let's print it. We are done. Let's try to print everything. So we have it here, the necessary requirements. This is one of the center. That's the address. That's the pin code. So 340 doses are available. That's the date and that's your vaccine name. It's a paid vaccine and it's 900 rupees. Similarly, you have more centers available. These are all center ID. Now you can go into your app, the CoWin app, look for search for the center ID or the spin code, or you can go do a search by district and states, and then look for the date when you want to get vaccinated, look for the center name, and look for the time slots where there will be a vaccines available. For instance, this one has one vaccine available, this one has 340 vaccines available. That's all for this video. In the next one, I will just show a very simpler GitHub API. It's not much of an API, rather a utility which will help you to make this program much more easier. Till then, thank you.